the most beautiful pork chop I've ever seen. It's just
Look at
lovely.
that. Flip it on the other side.
Look at
Quadrillage, you know.
Duplique pork is getting to be awfully popular nowadays, isn't it?
It is very popular. Not only that, it's very inexpensive also. You know, it's a very good buy.
Well, we're going to do all kinds of wonderful recipes with pork today. Just watch us.
Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. Here we have a whole loin of pork, and so you'll understand it's from there up the shoulder, up here down to the leg, and the shoulder is right there, and that's the beginning of the legs.
The hip bone, yes.
And we want you to see this so that when you go to the market, you'll know what you're getting when you look in the meat case.
We have the fillet here, which is what we are going to remove first, because we're going to do different dishes. Certainly one dish is with the tenderloin and fillet. People don't realize that the tenderloin or fillet, when it's properly cleaned, doesn't have more fat than a chicken breast. You know, so it's really a good meat to have. It's extremely tender and it's very versatile.
People are so afraid of fat nowadays that they'll be, that's why they like the tenderloin.
So here is the whole tenderloin of fillet, which I am going to trim a little more after. But first, on the tenderloin, on the other side, there is the loin. So here we can cut a piece. I mean, people would get that at home, you know. I'm going to put that here for a second. And here, to start with, as you mentioned before, and you can see there is a bone right there. And this is the bone of the hip. It's already part of the hip. So that part here is in the way. So I would do a little roast out of this. Usually we cut right here. And you cut that, you see, you're at the end of the bone. You can do a nice little roast with this. And then here we do our loin. So again...
you can get the whole loin with the tenderloin attached to it, can't you?
Yes, exactly, yeah. And you know, it's not such difficult, you know, to do the boning out. It's relatively simple. You follow the bone, and it's not like something will happen and you'll go to jail or anything like this, you know. So basically...
Well, that's very simple.
We have our
that's
loin
all there
here.
is left is a bone.
And you have this, yes, you can do a great soup with it. You can do even type of spare ribs, you know.
Yeah.
Brushing them with a bit of barbecue sauce, roasting that in the oven would be good. So that would be our loin. And I'm taking some of the sinew and the fat on top here. You see, it's not only a question of the fat, but there is those very large sinew underneath. And you have to remove those. So here we'll have a roast, which would be about 4 pounds in those areas, you know. So here is our steak there. This is our fat. Okay, maybe I finish cleaning up that fillet.
Yeah.
This is the chine, you know, the little chine of the fillet that you remove, because usually the fillet, you want to clean it up completely, and there is a bit of a skin on top. Then removing that skin also, you know, which come on top. See here, I'm removing the silver skin also. We put that on the side. This could be roasted whole, or then we'll do little tournedos with that. Now this part is the rack, of course, and I could do the classic pork chop. So we cut a few pork chop, maybe I'll cut 3. See, this one is a bit narrower, so I'll take 2 ribs with me.
And you need really sharp knives, obviously.
Yeah. This. Okay. This is extra, so now I have 3 pork chop. 1. So here we cut the hand bone.
That's the part of the backbone, isn't it? That you're
Yeah, this is
cutting
part
off.
of the backbone. And now on the rib itself here, I remove that And that again we use for the sausage. And we do a little bit of a manche, you know, a trimming here.
When you buy it at the market, very often it hasn't been trimmed the way you're
No,
doing
it
it
hasn't
here,
been
but
trimmed
it's
that
easy
much
to
as
do,
this.
as you can see.
And even the little layer of fat and sinew on the outside if you want.
Wonderful meat for sausages or your
Yeah,
own
this is
sausages.
the beauty. In a restaurant, you don't lose anything. And even at home, not only in a restaurant, if I were at home trying to clean up something like this, I get all my meat together, all my bone together, and I ground that to make sausage. All the bone I keep to do a big soup with beans, for example, or season it with a kind of curry even, or with barbecue, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So here is what we're going to use today. We have that the loin that we're going to roast, this pork chop, and the fillet. So do you want to cut the fillet into little tournedos? And we do
The thing is, do you like it turn it or do you like it in little chunks that way?
the way.
I'm going to do it in little chunks.
Okay, that's good. This is very tender like this.
Very.
So we would serve like 2 per person of those, yeah?
3 per
5, 6
person.
people, 3 per person. All right, so 3 per
These are
person.
not very big.
We're gonna do that with prune, and we have some dry prune macerating with some port wine, and that goes so well with it. So now everything is cut. We're gonna start cooking. We're gonna start with the loin, right?
Yes, good.
Can you season it for me a
I
little bit?
will, okay.
Maybe
What do you
some
want? Salt and pepper?
salt, pepper, some herb de Provence, and we're going to do apple with it.
You're using Golden Delicious.
I love golden.
Well, I think they're the safest, aren't they, if you want an apple that will
Yes.
hold its shape.
Absolutely, yes. And they are good, you know. That's
Is that
it.
enough?
Herb de Provence and two, so we're going to brown this around a little bit. That's good.
And this herb de Provence is a mixture of sage, thyme, bay, and so forth. A very
Yes,
nice
marjoram.
combination.
So we take those out. You know, usually pork goes well with fruit.
I'm going to do a little shallot because I need it for mine.
good.
You
Okay.
do need some or no?
No, I don't think I need any shallot here. I just want to brown that nicely. You know, you want it on each side to have a nice little color. And I should remove it. Put that here. Add my apple. I put some salt and a little bit of sugar and maybe a bit of pepper. And now we're going to have the rolls on top of it. I put it at 375.
This is pure, good quality vegetable oil. We'll start with that.
Vegetable oil.
This is very hot. And you assure me, being very hot, it's not going to stick.
No, this is quite thick, actually. The quality of a pan, you know, is determined by the thickness of the metal, and this is a nice thick bottom.
Because I
you
would
know
usually use the no-stick pan.
Well, when we do a dish with a sauce, what you need is the crystallization of the juice. When the juice come out, they will crystallize in the bottom of the pan, and those glaze or juice, you want to deglaze, that is to add liquid to create a sauce. And when you use a non-stick pan, very often those glaze stick to the meat, and there is nothing left to do a sauce, you know. So we want to cook that a few minutes. We want to be nicely brown and cooked
And
on
you're
each
correct.
side.
It's not sticking at all.
No. So that will take about 5-6 minutes to cook. And during that time, I'm going to clean up the table. Looks wonderful.
Okay, now
And if you want to take them out, I put them in the oven to keep warm a few minutes while you're doing the sauce. That's good.
No, then. Okay.
Now this is nice to see the crystallization here. You want some vinegar? You want to deglaze?
Red wine vinegar we put
Yes,
in
beautiful
here.
red wine vinegar.
Now-
And then after that, if you want to add your prune now or just the port wine.
Let's put the both in.
Okay. And what we want to do here is to cook it so it reduces a little bit. Julia, you wanted to put a little bit of that brown chicken stock.
Yes.
Okay. And that will have to simmer gently to reduce a little bit for 4 or 5 minutes, right? Don't you think so?
We could put a little shallot in at this point.
At that point, we can put them. Okay.
At this point, we have no fat in here at all.
Well, just a little bit of the dripping, you know?
There have been practically none. That will please some people.
Yes. So we let it cook for a few minutes now. Looks good now.
Smells good.
Yeah, it has a nice viscosity. So now we put the secret ingredient. A little bit of black currant, like in game, you know, you put that in, as a thickening agent.
That is a...
And you know what? A little bit of ketchup.
Ketchup does turn out to be very useful.
Yeah, and it will thicken, it will give you the viscosity, a bit of the sweetness which goes with it. There you can see how it looks great. So maybe I'll get the one in the oven. We can finish the dish.
See how that tastes.
And you can see here in the oven, you see the juice which came out of it, which indicate that the meat rested and it started relaxing and the juice come out of it. So we add that juice to it here.
That always is very important, having that strength of the meat juice, isn't it?
Yes. You know what I'd like to do too? While you finish, or we can stop that. I have to finish the orzo.
Oh, good. That's that rice-shaped pasta.
That rice-shaped pasta that we have here. This is just done with a bit of chicken stock, cooked very plain and very nice. And I think we'll add a little bit of chopped parsley and some basil to it to give it some color and a bit of taste, because it's a bit bland otherwise.
It's very nice stuff, I think.
It is good, yes.
It's an alternate to...
I think in Italian it's called risoli. Risol, because...
So rice-shaped.
Yeah, rice shape, yeah. I have a spoon to mix this here. And I think now we're ready to plate our dishes. I'm going to use that dishes still warm from the oven, just because I love it, beautiful. And I'll put a little bit of the risol around. So when you put something, when you want to do a border, the best thing is to put it right in the center and go from this and spread it out. Because you don't care, the center is going to be covered anyway, so.
Beautifully flavored.
That's it. So we can arrange our pieces of meat there.
And we're going to put the sauce on that.
With the sauce and the prune, it's going to be really good. And that's good with it.
I think prunes are much nicer when they have a little meat sauce in them.
Yes. Look at that orange sauce.
That's going to be delicious. That looks
We have
very
a bit of basil
nice.
here. We're not put a little
That's
bit
nice.
there.
That's nice.
That's a nice
Very
dish.
good. Jack, I'm sure that pork loin is ready.
Yeah, I'm going to go get it.
Good. That's that.
Here it
I
is.
don't know how long that's been cooking in there. About 45 minutes, you think?
Yes, 45 minutes to an hour. You could serve it right in there, you know. I can arrange
would
it
be
on
nice.
that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Why don't you arrange it on the platter then where you're going
Okay,
to
we arrange
see
it
it
on
there?
the platter. This is the natural apple. Just in that nice.
It looks lovely.
Oh, and we did another dish with that. We did red cabbage. So
but
maybe
now,
I'll put the red cabbage underneath. And those are red cabbage are sauté, you know, with some bit of caraway seed. We put in it a bit of
they've got a
vinegar.
little apple. That has been shredded so that it cooks easier.
Right. Okay.
That's nice.
That's a nice color. And it kind of goes well with it, you know, those type
Yes.
of mixtures. So in that case, a few slices here. And you know, I like to present it so that you have a few slices cut.
What temperature should that be? About 160?
Well, this one was 160 internal temperature, you know. And you would warm this.
And there's no tinge of pink there at all.
No. And as you present it this way, I think
That's
it
very nice.
make a nice kind of Sunday meal, you know.
It'd be nice what you have left over. You can
Big
make
family.
lovely sandwiches with for the next
Yeah,
day.
great sandwiches, yes. Well, I'm ready to eat it.
I'm ready to eat, but we still got pork chops to do.
Oh, that's it.
That's going to be a porky day, isn't it?
Yes.
Now at last we're going to do our pork chops. And we're
Pork
going to do two ways. Jack's going to do one on the stovetop grill, and I'm going to do one in a pan.
Good.
So I'm going to start on, I like to put a spice mixture on it.
I see you have a lot of interesting
Yeah.
things here.
And this is, you can make up whatever
Cinnamon,
mixture you like.
savory, mace,
allspice,
paprika,
mace,
clove.
brown pepper,
Yes, paprika.
This is just an idea of what you can do. You make up your own, then you can bottle it.
That was cinnamon. This is savory.
Savory.
Fresh savory.
And
Clove.
clove. Ground bay leaf.
Thyme, fresh thyme.
Mix it all up.
Gosh, this is a lot of stuff.
And then just keep it in your little spice cabinet. Then when you got some pork chops. Where is my pork?
Okay, your
There
pork
it
chop
is.
is there. You're nice.
I'm going to rub mine with a little bit of vegetable oil before I put that on. Those are beautiful chops. I think I love the way
Do you want some
trimmed
salt?
them.
You want some
And a
salt
little
on it?
salt. You put some salt on.
Not mine too, anyway.
Good.
Okay.
Ideally, you'd do this at least half an hour beforehand
Yes.
so that the spice mixture would sink in.
Uh-huh.
And I use this for duck and goose and for sausages.
That's a good idea. You can use
It's
it.
very nice.
Are you
I think.
sauteing that with a bit of oil?
I think oil goes well with pork. And this is a no-stick pan.
Yes.
I'm going to brown it on each side and then cook it.
Well, that's going to take a few minutes, right?
It is. It will take 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
During that time, I'm going to start mine, and I put a little bit of oil, salt and pepper on each side also, and I think just a little bit of rosemary. You want to do it fairly fine because you can even put your rosemary after because it will have a tendency to burn a little bit on the barbecue, but it's all right. It
Put it
will give
both
flavor.
ways.
Yeah, it gives flavor to the flesh, you know. My wife loves rosemary. You know? Okay, so I have that grill here. We started, and that will take a few minutes on each side, you know.
I think we should mention these grills. You can get them all different sizes. And
Yes.
what's very nice is that you're not sauteing it in fat.
Yes, it
Not
is.
that we don't like fat, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to limit it.
It is true also that at home in the back, in the garden, I have a big grill, and of course I use it the whole summer. But when you are in an apartment or in winter, those are really handy. And this is thick. You get the thickest one you can, a big piece of cast iron, so it really retains the heat and mark nicely. So this one will cook about 3 minutes on each side to start with, and you can finish it up in a warm oven to let it rest so the meat decontract. Because when you put it on a grill like that, it tends to contract, so it toughens. So you have to let it rest so it decontracts and it's more tender. I think this is ready to be turned on the first side. I keep it in the same direction. But it's important, you know, I know people who brown it on one side and turn it on the same side, especially for steak. What happens is that, you know, the myoglobin, which is the juice, goes too much on one side, you have a crust on one side. So you have to cook it on one side the other side again, turn it 4 times so that it's really cooked exactly the same on both
That's
sides.
a very good tip.
Yes, it's
Because I'm
important.
always doing it the other way,
No,
and this is better.
my chef in apprentice chef would have kicked me in the rear end if I didn't do it this way. You know?
Well, that's good to know.
Okay, shall we do the salad now?
Fine. Do you want me to seed the avocados?
Yes, I'm going to seed some avocado too. I have a special technique.
All right, let's
Can I
see
show
it.
you that? So we cut it this way to get to the center,
Yeah.
hopefully. Then you twist it to have it. You bang it with a knife like this. We sharpen it nicely.
And that looks as though it were
Yeah.
really ripe.
And then after that, don't go too deep with your knife. Don't cut your finger, but you cut it in square this way.
Yeah.
And after in square this way. No, I don't go through the skin. My hand is underneath, or put a towel underneath. And then all you have to do is to empty it. It's all cut.
Well, now that's another good idea. It's worth working with a professional, isn't it? It really
Speed.
learn a lot.
I think I'm going to turn this on the other side. And now, of course, the lines are going this way, so I want it to face.
Now, I
This
think
way.
this is a great system.
So maybe a little bit of tomato.
Yeah.
I think that I would want maybe to remove a bit of the seed on the tomato.
I'm going to turn my chop.
The chop is doing good. Ooh, nice and brown. And cut that into cube approximately 1 inch, about the size of the avocado.
Mine is brown enough. I'm going to put a little vermouth in it. And a little bit of our all-purpose brown stock here. Well, let's put some savory
Put
in.
savory.
This is to keep it moist so it won't be dried out.
I think I'll turn the fourth side. Ooh, this is really going.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm going to have is to put a little bit of red onion in it. Now I want to cook that a little bit on the side. So what I do, I cut a potato in half. Use it on the side. You see, it's about brown here too, but the side of it very often need cooking. So you can put something there. Use it and
That's a great idea.
you can eat your potato after if it cooked long enough. You know, I want to brown the outside a little bit and basically also finish it, as I say, in a warm oven.
So here we're back to my pan-roasted pork chop. This chop is done, so I'm going to keep it in the warming oven and let the sauce reduce. So I'll just have it in another little pan.
Okay, good.
And that oven is way down at 140.
Yep.
I want to boil down this sauce.
You're going to boil this down?
I'm going to put a little bit of your secret ingredient in here because it needs a tiny bit of sweetness. I think you have to keep tasting things all the time, and if you realize it really needs a little sweetness.
Yeah, and it gives it some lion, that is some bit of thickening agent and sweetness.
Well, just that little touch did it. So I think the thing is to learn the various things you can do to, say, give something sweetness as a little liaison.
So now we finish seasoning the salad. I have red wine vinegar, salt, pepper, and olive oil. I think maybe...
That is an excellent quality olive oil.
Yes, maybe even a tiny dash of a few drops of Tabasco.
That
I like
was
Tabasco.
4 drops of Tabasco.
Yeah, and we'll mix all of this together. Are we ready to plate then?
I think we are. This one I'm going to put the tiniest bit of butter in there just to give a liaison and a velvety quality to my sauce.
I'll get back your pork chop.
And just swish it around like that. That gives it a little glaze.
Beautiful. Shall I give you a little bit of my salad with it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little
That's going to be
cup
nice.
like this?
No, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yes. Here we go. And I think I will do the same garnish.
For both of them.
Yes, for both of them.
Oh, that looks lovely.
And here is my...
Lovely.
I have a beautiful pork chop and a little piece of rosemary, the finishing
Very
touch. And I think now we're ready to eat.
Now we're ready to eat.
Happy cooking!
Bon appetit!
And it's fun to cook together.
It certainly is.